folks, so I found this little cardboard house drawers storage thing in a charity shop, and I think it was 20p, and it's a bit broken, it's a bit yellowing, it's a bit discoloured in places, but it's basically, the structure's fine-ish, it just needs a bit of repair work. And I thought that Rafiki would love it as a place to hold all of his treasures. Now, I showed it to him and he doesn't mind the pink and the purple. So I definitely want to keep some of those elements in there because we love to encourage boys that pink is not just a girl's colour, because that's ridiculous.
So I just went to it with a glue gun to start off with, just strengthening up where those gaps were and making sure that it would last in the hands of a rambunctious 5-year-old. Now onto the paper mache stage, and there are lots of recipes online for how you can do paper mache, including various mixes of glue to water or flour. I tried a lot of them, and the way that I actually like doing it is by ripping up small pieces of toilet paper and just dipping them in straight up glue. That's what works for me. I love the texture it gives. I don't really layer it in the way that people normally do with the paper mache. I just dip it in and then press it on and then wait for a couple of days for it to dry. But obviously you should have a play around, see what works for you, see what you like to do. Yeah, so I was just dipping it in and building it up and layering it on. It gets really messy and really squelchy and your hands get super sticky. So that's why it's important to rip up all of the toilet paper before you start, because there's no way with all that glue on your hands you'll be able to once you've started. I was really worried here that I was going to accidentally glue the wrong pieces shut. So you'll see me desperately trying to make sure that the glue's not sticking in the wrong places. And that's what it looks like, ready to be left for a couple of days to dry before we get on to the next stage. To be honest here, I should have left more finger space to actually be able to open the drawers and get to the handles properly. But they do still work. You'll see in the finished bit, but they do still work, but I wish I'd left a bit more of a gap around them. And that's it when it's dry. So now we get onto the paint. So first off, I started off with a very dark grey. It's not black. It looks black. It's not black. It's a very, very dark grey. And just coated. And I used a really wet brush here and really made sure that I got into all the deep cracks and crevices and really coated everything with it. And now this is like my favourite bit of this process. So this is dry brushing with very little paint on the tip of the brush, on a very dry brush. And what you want to do is just very lightly brush over the surface, and that reveals all this beautiful texture and interest and intrigue. And it's just very lightly brushing over the surface to reveal the texture. You don't want to get it into the cracks like you were before. And on the roof, I just dabbed some paint on, and I wanted it to look weathered, and I thought it was quite nice the way that some of the pink came through to pop out that colour a little bit. And with a white brush, I just started adding teeny tiny bits of detail along some of the tips of the mountain ranges, for want of a better term. But not a lot, just quite sparsely in places, just to really highlight some of the tips. And this is what it looks like now. I'd be a bit tempted to just leave it like this. I feel like it looks quite cool. And it kind of pops out, that combination of 3 colours pops out nicely, but I wanted to make it a bit more secrety than that. So here I am twisting some pieces of toilet paper. Now, you want this to get the whole pile before you start adding the glue on. And then I started dipping it in the glue and really coating the twists before sticking them up so that they'll stick. Don't worry, the glue will dry clear. So you can really just lather it on as much as you want. And again, I was just really careful here to make sure that I didn't accidentally glue the wrong bits together. I didn't want to glue the roof down. And just covering it. The idea is when it's painted that it looks like vines. So you really want to just cover it. And then when you get to painting, this bit took ages because I was trying really hard to stay within the lines, which is not something I'm very good at. And just cover it all over, and then add some dried flowers on that I already had in the craft box to make it look. And I wanted to make the flowers quite feminine, traditionally feminine. I didn't want it to be some macho toy. I wanted it to retain some of the pinks and the purples from the original box, but in a slightly cooler way. And for some reason, the super glue took ages to hold them up. I don't know why, but I just kept pressing, and in the end it worked. And now Rafiki keeps all his treasures in there, including his teeny tiny Lego jewels, stones, and random pieces of paper that I don't understand what they are, but they're very, very important to him. Thanks for joining me today. Please like and subscribe for more videos of upcycling old toys so that you can get them out of the charity shops, out from the back of the garage, and get them played with again. Thanks. Bye.